Hello and welcome to another episode of Masters of PR Live. I'm your host Vikram Kharvi, and today we are diving deep into powerful intersection of creativity and corporate communication. As I often say, PR is not just about managing perception; it's about shaping meaning through stories that matter. Our guest today is someone who truly lives and breathes storytelling across mediums, industries, and disciplines. He's a poet, photographer, brand custodian, and communication strategist whose journey has spanned across textile, oil and gas, chemical, and electric vehicles. As a deputy manager, corporate communication at Epsilon Carbon, sorry for that, he's been at the heart of some of India's most dynamic sectors. Please join me in welcoming Sankalp Shukla. Sankalp, welcome to the Masters of PR Life. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thanks a lot, Vikram, for inviting me as a guest. I think that's like one of the best introduction I ever had in my life. And being your guest, somebody who's been a leader in this fraternity, we all look up to you. So being there on sitting across with you is like an opportunity, and it's a blessing for me. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Sankar. Good words. Thank you so much. Let's begin. So, Sankar, a poet sees not what is, but what could be, and that's exactly the vision great communicators need. And you have started that way. So let's start with the roots. You began your journey as a poet and a visual artist before stepping into the world of corporate storytelling. How has the early creative grounding influenced your communications career?
I think poetry, photography, and journalism has really shaped up the way I perceive and shape communication story for brands. Three things major if I had to add, which had profound impact. One was journalism. My early days in Times of India taught me how the same story in different publications was published differently with different narratives and perspectives, depending on
Mm-hmm.
the editorial policy. Second, I think I'm very thankful to my parents who introduced me to Indian mythology like Ramayana, Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Gita. That made me ask a lot of questions. Why is Draupadi or Sita or Karna or Dronacharya perceived or narrated the way they are narrated today? The narrative could have been different because narrative has many faces.
Mm-hmm.
Third, I'm thankful to my mother for because since I inherit poetry from her, poetry brings in a lot of empathy, a lot of human
And today's
centric
a
approach.
birthday.
Today's her birthday, yes.
How
Today's
what
her
a day.
mom's birthday, yes. So poetry brings in a lot of empathy and human centric approach, which helps me navigate stories through complex situations. If I had to sum up of how these three things or four things have contributed to my journey in PR in a mythological way, it would be for me, PR is like Draupadi, often navigating through complex situationships.
Mm.
Uh, Kunti, still abiding by rules and dignity of the empire. And Karna, often trying to find a voice against the odd. So every story that we shape will have some part and characters and shades of resilience, compromise, beauty, anger, everything. How do you balance everything is what narrative building and PR is all about today.
Very brilliant. I haven't heard this kind of definition of PR ever. Thank you for this. So
Always
if
welcome.
you can make it is said that if you can make the invisible visible, even the most complex sectors becomes relatable. You've navigated some pretty
Correct.
hardcore sectors like chemicals, EVs, textile. Each has its own complexities, like you just rightly said. How do you adapt your communication style across such diverse landscape while maintaining the core authenticity of the brands that you represent?
Okay. So I think irrespective of the sectors that I had the opportunity to work with, be it oil and gas or textile or currently EV, every sector has its own language and complexities. But
Mm,
what the core communication remains the same. How consistent you are, how well you're resonating with the target audience or stakeholders, and how you're building credibility. These 3 points will remain the same. And I've
right.
always believed as a communication professional that the purpose with which a brand is made
Mm,
tells you the story. The reason for existence of a brand builds perspective, and that perspective helps me build credibility and narrative. So, for an example, when I'll go back to my early days when I was working with Raymond, Raymond was very clear
mm,
till the time I was a part of it.
mm,
They never hired a model or a celebrity because they said
mm,
the entire philosophy is the complete man abides by all his responsibilities in different
mm,
roles that he is there.
mm,
So we were very clear on the purpose. Coming to the current brand that I'm working for, Lyco Materials Private Limited, we are very clear. We are recycling batteries for a sustainable future. With the rise of EV, you will need a lot of critical minerals, which India relies on
mm,
import.
mm,
So when the purpose is defined,
mm,
we all contribute to the vision and mission of it. It's like Apple is for known for innovation, Tata known for trust, Aarti we did a lot for sustainability, Epsilon for EV. So when you have defined your purpose, it becomes easy. And I had a
mm.
very bad habit from journalism background of nudging a lot of questions. So if because corporate communication and PR gives you that aspect of working with the top management, so I always ask them, why did you start this? What is the problem you're trying to solve? So these questions helps me to transfer the journey for a longer term in building the narrative and perspective.
Interesting. I heard this somewhere that even a molecule can be made inspiring if told right.
Correct.
And that really stuck me.
Very good
So,
point.
walk us through how you use films and visuals to humanize industries that aren't always seen as a relatable or glamorous. It's easy with B2C. What about B2B and the sectors that you have worked with?
Okay. I think what you will see is how our industry has evolved is B2B businesses have also come into PR, are using PR and different channels to communicate. Initially, they were not doing it. It was just business focused. They were just business. They were not brands.
Mm,
If you're not communicating enough, you're not becoming a brand. If you're not
yeah.
resonating with your end consumer, there's no brand
Mm,
building. So, how do
correct.
you navigate through complex messages into simpler messages? And how do you resonate with your end audience? It will help you build your brand.
Mm,
Consistency is the key. Your words backed by your action is the key. I'll
mm,
give you a couple of example. As a very recent example, when I joined Epsilon Carbon,
mm,
first quarter I can say I found it very difficult. I
mm,
found to understand. I don't come from an engineering background, hardcore journalism background, PR. So understanding technicalities was a different, very difficult aspect. Then
mm,
one sudden day during a coffee conversation, somebody told me, Sankalp, you know what? Everything that is black has a carbon element in it.
correct.
And that is where the idea germinated of doing a campaign. And we did
Mm,
something called Black That Loves You Back.
mm, mm.
Be it your
Yeah.
headphones, be it the black chair you're sitting on, be it the mascara, be it a racket, be it the seat belt that protects you in the car. And then slowly and gradually from a business brand, it became a B2C perspective brand where people started relating to it. If you don't relate
Mm.
to the brand, then the entire objectivity for building a brand gets lost.
Yeah, even I have an experience of working on something similar. We used to work for a chemical company where Carbon was the hero, and that's how we started a campaign calling
Okay.
Carbon a hero. So that was I can completely relate to it.
I think I
And
also have a, yeah, please,
mm,
please go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I also had a very similar example with Aarti Industries. So the
Mm,
paint that you use at home, be it an Aerolag or Asian paints, the pigmentation that goes in for colors is Aarti's. Most of
mm,
the brands is Aarti's.
correct.
If I directly tell you we are the pigment there, you'll be like, okay, how does an end consumer matter?
Yeah,
But when
right.
you say we are a part of the journey which makes your home beautiful, somewhere we are connected,
Yeah.
irrespective of the fact that somebody at a B2C level will never come to buy chemicals from us. But how we are touching your end life becomes very relevant when I say that.
True. Excellent. So let's move ahead. It said that trust isn't claimed, it's consistently demonstrated through actions, transparency, and authentic narrative. You at Aarti Industries did campaigns that actually attracted eyeballs. You earned awards, for that, and also investors. What goes in building such a high trust brand image, especially in industries that are often under the radar, especially with Aarti? If you can just expand on that.
I think you made me go back to my memories of my last company, which was Aarti. And Aarti Industry is a very well-known brand in the industry with almost more than 35 years
mm,
of presence. I had an opportunity of building a corporate communication department at Aarti.
mm,
And what I realized in the 2 years that I was there at Aarti was it was like raising a mature child of 30-year-old who
mm,
was doing great in terms of business, but
yeah.
was never communicating.
Mm,
Then starting for basic things from making corporate communication policy to making people realize why visual identity is important,
mm,
to actually breaking down 5 to 6 or 10 messages and saying, okay, boss, CEO will only talk about the vision, CFO will talk about numbers, CHRO only talks about culture,
mm,
sustainability head only
mm,
talks about sustainability initiatives. While you do all these things, the common
mm,
thread that remains in all this communication is the core values and principle that the brand has.
mm,
Sustained effort backed by action resulted in getting us a lot of awards, the ET awards, the FICCI Company of the Year award, the FICCI Company of the Era award, and those
mm,
things were like, and it's like you always feel happy when you see brands
mm.
evolve through that journey.
True. These are like very interesting challenges that a copcom or a PR person can ever have in his life, because these are the stories that you will tell later when you actually build up communications function from the ground up. And
Right.
so is culture. Culture actually doesn't live in brochures. It breathes in stories shared by people. So that brings me to internal communication, which is a battleground often overlooked by communicators. Yet you made it a core pillar of strategy, crafting narratives that connect from shop floor to C-suite. How do you ensure messages land and resonate across these hierarchies?
I think very important point, and this is for all of us, like PR and Copcom. It's an ever evolving industry. It's people from diverse background work in your company with different cultures, with different expectations and aspirations. How do you connect everyone is a two-way communication. First, internal communication should be done to not just inform, it
Mm,
should be done to engage and make people feel valued.
mm,
I've always believed as a protocol that if you're celebrated every day and if you believe that you're a part of the larger vision and mission that a company has, you feel connected.
mm. Yeah.
Second, every role is important, be it Epsilon, be it Aarti, any Raymond. End of the day, we all talk about numbers, we talk about finances, customers. I've always believed in my approach. Your first customer is your own stakeholder, is your own employee who's building the brand.
Mm,
End of the day, these guys are representing you. If we can take
mm.
care of them, they will take care of the brand. So
Correct.
in different companies, we have gone beyond town halls,
Mm,
newsletters, emailers. There have been
mm,
micro groups been made, surveys been done. So the two-way communication included one, what is the organization expectation out of you? Second,
mm.
what is your expectation out of the organization?
Correct.
So they just not feel heard, they also feel valued. Okay, whatever we say in every quarter reviews are done to ensure that these things are addressed.
Mm.
And these things, when you are a part of a building a culture, you feel valued.
Yeah.
And at
Sure.
Epsilon, I think I'm very proud of the way culture building is done at Epsilon. This is one thing that is taken very seriously.
Correct. So that's what it is. No, that even the most technical brand becomes memorable when it speaks like human. And that brings me to my next question. B2B brand aren't always seen as the most exciting players on social media, but your work made them genuinely like worthy. So what's the secret sauce for making even the most serious brands socially engaging?
I'll give an example of Tata Chemicals. And this, I always, even when I go to Xavier's for teaching kids, I tell them this. So Tata Chemical did a campaign long back saying, every time you go to a cookie shop, you get engulfed by the aroma that it has. What do you do? As Indians, what do? We love gifting. So you buy it, you eat it, you buy it, you gift it to your loved ones. And all this journey from your transition to a cookie shop to your gifting, we were
Mm,
present in your happiness quotient. Then you gift it to somebody, they become happy.
mm,
In all your happiness
mm,
quotient, we are present. And very subtly they say, you know what? We are the largest producer of baking soda in India.
Wow. Yeah.
I am not gonna never gonna as an end customer gonna go and buy baking soda from Tata Chemicals. But
Correct.
every time post this campaign, I go to a cookie shop, there's something I remember Tata Chemical here.
Mm.
That is very important.
Did you work with Tata Chemicals?
No. I just love the
Okay.
campaign. So
Love the campus. Nice. Okay, let's come to crisis now. The
yeah.
first casualty in a crisis is not credibility, it's silence. So, speed and empathy, as we all know, are the first responders. You handle your own share of crisis moments, like
Yes.
the Twitter backlash. When the pressure was on, what principles guide you in crisis communication? And if you can just expand on the crisis that you managed.
So talking about the crisis, this was a CA group thing going on, and one of my vendors. So in Twitter, when you're posting, you have options of switching accounts.
Mm.
Instead of switch, and we all have personal opinions, so due respect to that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
instead of switching accounts, instead of switching to Mahanagar gas account, he posted from MGL account rather than his account.
Okay.
And it was
That's
an anti CA poetry. The first instance that happened is because I come from a background of poetry, people thought it was done by
mm.
me.
Okay.
So, but okay, it was a very serious issue. The first thing that we did was issue a statement that this was not done by us.
Mm.
So agency was very credible in acknowledging the fact that it happened by mistake.
Mm.
Second, the kind of credibility that we had built over the years,
Mm.
we banged on that. That what has been the history of the last 20 years that MJL has.
Yeah, yeah.
Third, what next we are going to do to ensure that there's 24/7 surveillance because this
Mm.
incident happened at 2:30 in the night and we
Mm.
got to know it at 7 in the morning, 7:15 in the morning. So
Yeah,
damage was already done.
yeah.
Before you could act, react, respond, people had taken screenshots and people are like, okay, a semi-government entity from Gale is going against the government.
Mm.
So that was handled very nicely. I think we
Mm.
were in a cup. There was no stories.
Mm.
We ensured we
You're
did a media.
lucky.
Yeah, we were very lucky. We did it. I think in a span of 1 hour, we come from a semi-government background, we had to write letters to the parliament. There were calls. We were called to offices and all that, but it was handled nicely. And we ensured we did also the kind of relations we had. We did stories that MGL was under part of it. And going
Mm.
further, how do we ensure that we're keeping a 24/7 surveillance on social media so that
Mm.
anything that goes wrong is addressed at that point?
Yeah. And this is it's a kind of a most common crisis that can happen to people who actually manage social media with multiple brands. So
Correct.
not only your opinion might go to any other brand, but any other brand's opinion might get into any other brand because
Yes,
people
yes,
use
yes.
multiple handles of the same agency. Very scary situation. I One of my brands that I have been managing have gone through this, so I can totally relate to this.
I
Okay, let's move forward.
being a old school thought, I still tell my team and my colleagues and vendors whom I work with, partners, that boss, every time we do something, do it how advanced we become with mobile phones. Still
Yeah,
open a laptop and do things.
correct. And be focused. Don't do
Be
anything
very
else.
focused on what you're doing.
Multitasking is not always favorable.
Not always favorable, yes.
But multi-platform is so. This that brings to my next question. The strong brand voice is like a music. You may change the instruments, but the melody remains. You yourself have been juggling films, tweets, media interviews, internal newsletters. How do you ensure a consistent tone and messaging across all these platforms?
I think I answered that. So whatever the values you have across the different stakeholders that are talking,
Hmm.
be it your sales guy, be it your CHRO or a sustainability guy, be it your
Hmm.
MD, the values remain the same across.
Mm,
The key. If I'll give you an example, if
mm,
Tata is resonated as trust, or Apple or innovation, there were
mm,
certain things, certain communication that they did over the years
mm.
that what helped them build this brand backed by the action. So the kind of communication that you do across different mediums remains the same. Your values
Mm.
and legacy remains the same. Your messaging
Yeah.
might change.
Mm. Brilliant. So now let's move to team building. It's said that hire curiosity, teach craft, and nurture confidence. And this team building is kind of again another underrated skill for us communicators. You've built communication teams from the ground up. How do you nurture communication talent inside the organization?
I think apart from training is something I've always loved, and
Mm,
I must tell you that Siemens was the first company that I got this opportunity.
mm,
So, and it is one of the most impactful experiences I had
mm,
working for Siemens for 2.5 years. What we realized is the top management people, be it at a CXO level people, they are very business centric people. They know their numbers, they know their
mm,
domains.
mm,
How do they tell their story? So I had an opportunity of helping them narrate their stories.
mm,
One. Second, at Siemens and Aarti, we all often got to meet with a lot of salespeople.
mm.
So the kind of pitch that I might be preparing a pitch at the top level, is my sales guy delivering the same thing? The messaging is flowing across. So we used to train a
Yeah.
lot of salespeople. What do you
Mm,
say? The kind of situation that can arise. It was very similar to a
mm.
crisis situation.
Yeah.
How do you talk? How do you communicate? How you are very crystal clear in what you're communicating. It
Mm,
I have always believed it's not always presentations.
mm,
How do you connect is a
mm.
very important aspect on how you're going to move way forward.
Yeah. Correct.
And because when you work with ground level people,
Mm,
even when be it a shop floor worker or top floor, you know what's the sentiment that's flowing, what do you need to address, what is going wrong.
right. Interesting. Time to flip the script. So sometimes your most difficult moments become the campaign that actually defines you. What has been your biggest learning or a turning point in your communication journey so far?
I think I missed your question, sorry.
Saying what's your biggest learning or a turning point in your communications journey so far?
I think the biggest turning point in my communication journey has been with Lyco, the current brand that I'm handling.
Mm,
When I started handling Lyco Materials Private Limited, we weren't doing any
mm,
PR for the brand.
mm,
So starting from building the brand of letting people know that what is recycling, what is
mm,
repurposing, why it is important, why
mm,
India imports a lot of critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, and when
mm,
you recycle these batteries, end of life lithium and batteries, how you can preserve these critical minerals and get it back to
mm,
again a battery company where they will use it and the circular economy remains maintained. So while doing all this, the we did a lot of campaigns. We spoke about circularity. We spoke about circular economy, and suddenly one day in Bharat Mobility, Lyco was shortlisted as one of the top 10 companies for innovation.
mm,
And our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji,
mm,
visited the stall because of this. So it's a very proud moment,
mm.
and you always feel good on some brand that you worked from scratch, and it sees lights like of reality like this.
Sure. Great. Last question, Sankalp. If you had to share one message with young PR professionals stepping into this fast shifting world of AI, digital, and decentralized storytelling, what would that be?
I think I'll like to share two messages here. One is
Mm,
commit mistakes. That's fine.
mm.
Read a lot.
Yeah.
Think your subject like You should it should not be limited to a tip of an iceberg. Go in as much depth as you can go in understanding the ecosystem. Why is the business there? Third, whatever you do, if you succeed, you fail, always revisit the situation. A lot of people will tell you, move forward, go ahead. I've always believed, even if you've succeeded or even if you have failed, just revisit the situation. It helps you prepare better for next time you're encountering the same thing. It's a very personal experience.
Very interesting and very true too, Sankalp. And thank you for such an inspiring and wide ranging conversation. Your journey is a testament to the power of creative, heartfelt, and strategic storytelling in industries that shape our world. To our viewers, if this conversation sparked an idea, a reflection, or even a smile, don't forget to like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Follow Wikipedia for more such sessions with masters of the craft. Until next time, keep communicating with heart, strategy, and style. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sankal, for being our
Thanks a
guest
lot,
today.
Vikram. It was a lovely conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.